They can try to take me down, but they can't take me to my knees. You'll never take me. Not my choice, but it's my blood to bleed. I'm I don't wanna have to wait for another moment like this. You'll just have to learn from my mistakes. You don't know the half of it. I wish I could slow down these thoughts in my head. Have I been misread? Will the world pass by if I can't hold on? What should I do when I don't feel strong? I just wanna be here for now. What if I let go and just lose control? How do I find out what means the most? I just wanna be here for now. What do I do? I'm feeling like a soul out of body, stuck on the outside looking in. When I slow down, I wonder if I'll be stumbling around waiting for the end. If our sky doesn't have a limit, then there won't need to be a finish. I wanna be in the life I'm living. Maybe I'm already winning. Will the world pass by if I can't hold on? What should I do when I don't feel strong? I just wanna be here for now. What if I let go and just lose control? How do I find out what means the most? I just wanna be here for now. What do I do?
Intensely sends it to the outside. He can't get there. Kevin King is going to win the Barbizzo FTF Cup Series. Into the lead. Bond gets wrecked in front of the pack. He saves it. 3-4 wide as they come to the white flag. Here comes Vargas down on the apron. They are 5 wide. Ian Plash will win it at the line. Is this package? Oh, there goes Jordan Lopez Jr. That's your race leader. Caution flag is out.
Still no one willing to give up as they're going to be dead even off of the first chicane.
Oh, he saves it. What's going to happen here? Here comes the canvas. Oh, get your foot there.
He's got it! He's got it! Get there, no!
This is gonna win. Tonight, a chance to make history. Tyler Head enters tonight just 254 points up Gabriel Mauricio. As long as he does well tonight, he has a chance to clinch a WINSTEL Cup title. Tonight, the WINSTEL Series and its racers head to Phoenix for the second and last race of the 2003 season here at FTF.GG. I'm Justin Prince. Alongside me tonight is Alexander Balderas, Zach Johnson producing. As the pressure is on for car 86, Tyler Head enters tonight with a chance to clinch the title for this season. And in turn, Alex, the pressure's on for the defending race winner into tonight. He does have a good cushion. It's more than a race ahead. As long as he survives tonight, he wins the title heading to Homestead.
Keeping your car clean and keeping your head clear of those nasty thoughts of being in a possible wreck is key. He's going to want to keep his nose clean, make sure he doesn't get into any on-track incidents, and he wants to make sure he comes out of this race with the best possible chance and even could clinch the cup.
And in turn, these drivers get themselves set to go for tonight. Plenty of battles amongst the top five, but plenty of battles expected here from Old Style Phoenix. Here's your starting grid tonight as we get set to go for the Checker Auto Parts 500, presented by Haveli. Up at the pole tonight, in the 17 car, once again, Christian Budd starts up on the post. Gabriel Mauricio, he's in a good spot to battle 4 points, starting off in second. Jose Solis Jr. starts alongside Sean Pellick, and with Emily Howe and Nick Doucette amongst your starting 6, Alex.
Going on from row number 4, Dylan Roberts and Ali Osman take row number 4. Tyler Head, our current leader in the points, has the chance to come out of here with the championship, has to keep his car clean. Starts on row 5 next to Chris Champagneau. Then Philip Snipes and Parker Alexander round out row 6.
Starting off behind them, Timothy Latham and Austin Reedy with Brent McGee and Jonathan Hernandez, Andrew Perkins and Brandon Cruz Matzavice amongst your top 9 starting rows. Take a look at the rest of the starting grid as it rolls on through. Several drivers starting towards the back to keep an eye on, especially in the 20s. Andy Trippiano, Alex Kovacs, Kyle Benson amongst those who didn't set qualifying times for Phoenix. And Alex, as we get set to go racing from Phoenix, what are your keys to be able to win here at the 1 mile circuit? Mind you, no dogleg as per 2003.
No dogleg means you can't cut down the track, and with this, it's going to be a tough race for these guys. Extremely bumpy surface means a lot of tire wear. Being able to conserve your tires and make sure that they're for the end of the race is going to be key. A lot of these drivers are going to have to preserve that right rear. When they get on the gas, it's going to slide out. It's going to be tough for these guys to handle.
The chase for the WINSTEL Cup makes its way to Phoenix. The second to last race of the season is underway from the desert. Still side by side, coming out of turn 4. Mauricio holding on the outside. Christian Budd keeping it inside, though. First lap of the night goes to Budd by a 10,000th of a second difference. And Mauricio, however, has that outside groove to be able to pinch to try and make this move work.
You know, seeing that outside lane coming into play already just shows the multiple lanes here you can use at Phoenix. That bumpy surface, giving these guys a bit of a tassel. It's going to be pretty hard to handle, but these guys already starting to look like they're going to go 2 and maybe 3 wide as the 17 looks for passing the 48.
Sean Pellick's trying to work the outside line. He's had a good spark of performance in the past few weeks. Tries to get that outside, and he's stuck in the wall. So his teammate Nick Doucette zips on by alongside. That's something drivers have to be careful of. Do not hit the wall in these cars. You do get stuck.
Yeah, that seems to be one of the main problems with this car. You know, you could just maybe tap the wall, but you're going to be stuck to it like a magnet. So that's one thing these guys have to come out for, because some of the walls in the corner exits, they don't seem Like they would come out, but right there, you could just pop the wall and you could get stuck to it all along the backstretch.
But in return, now has a chance to be able to defend outside. Nick Doucette looking to take it inside. No major slide-ons passed by yet. Still staying patient. Nick Doucette, he has picked up 3 spots already, though, in what's so far been his best start to a race and what's been a very quiet season after being a championship contender last year.
Yeah, and I'm sure he just wants to get his head down right now, and he wants to go for a good finish. And these guys still are battling super hard here at the front, still using those top 2 lanes, and no one's given up just quite yet.
Nick Doucette amongst the top 3 in points, looking to join the conversation. After all, last year, Munsters did well, especially in the chase. So is Junior, the defending champion, still amongst the top 10. Turns the Gen 4 challenge. Just about 5 laps into the action so far. Going to have you on as the caution flag waves the back. And it's trouble with the Brett Bodine racing machine. The 11 goes around. McZire going around from 29th.
I like Zyre. Oh, go ahead,
James
Justin.
Bowles, I was about to say, was the one claiming responsibility. Go ahead.
So, I reckon the back. I was telling that these guys, you know, the bumps are going to be hard to handle. The car wants to slide out on you, and that could be what happened here as we get an instant replay. There goes the 11, and everything looks fine right now. And they stack up, and he just hits the back of the 0, sends him up, and sends him sliding up into the wall. But a wreck happens that quick in front of you, it's really hard, especially in these cars, to try and hit the brakes. And yeah, I just thought he could slide up and wasn't quite clear. 99 turns to 21, and everyone behind has to check up, and the 11 just couldn't stop in time. And luckily the 0 was able to get his back tires back on the ground and get him going again. So good chance for him in the net 0 car.
That was TJ Crampton involved in the incident as well. Avoid most of the damage, but there are still some. So in turn, pit strategy expected to be big here tonight. The tire wear even in the matter of 5 laps. Could be a few tenths of a second lap difference. And drivers like Solis Jr. look like they want to mix things up. Already, just 9 drivers staying out. Everybody else taking tires and fuel here. Most of them taking 2.
It's a bold strategy to stay out on track with how many of these bumps that you can see on the track. You know, it's going to play a factor in how much your tires wear. So these guys taking a gamble. Now, it may only seem like 5 laps, and that's not a lot. That's 5 miles that these guys have on their tires that the others don't. Because they took new tires, this is an opportunity for them to maybe push a little harder. You know, it's not going to be as much for them to save. So these guys taking a gamble out front, but it could pay off in the end.
And in turn, with how tonight potentially will play out, Tom Ahead amongst those not taking a risk there. He's amongst the first drivers on 4 tires with the fuel in the 86. That only puts him second on the strategy behind Dylan Roberts. But in turn, it should be intriguing what to keep an eye on from your points leader, knowing there's a chance they clinch the title tonight if they don't get involved in an incident and you play a smart race. After all, Head's won 2 of the past 3 races.
Having a good cushion going into one of the final races that you have to clinch the cup is especially a good way to win it. But right now, he just needs to remember, hey, I got to keep my head down. I got to stay focused. I know what I'm in for, and I'm in here for the long run. So keep my head down, keep it focused, and get ready for the green flag.
Getting set along the wall. Kimber Mauricio, Christian Budd, Nick Doucette, Sean Pellick, along with Emily Howe, your top 5. Also stayed out, Reedy Evan Locke, along with Andy Trupiano and Alex Kolinix. The last 2 did not qualify. Green flag is out. Back underway from Phoenix. 51 to go. And off to a clean launch again. Nick Doucette again making the move, though. He wants second, and he does it high side.
A lot of these guys, again, pushing off their tires. This could be interesting to see how tire wear comes into play. Right now, the leaders look like they might go single file. And actually, the 24 looks to make a move on the 40 out front in the field, entering turn 1.
Looking to try and take the lead for the first time tonight. Despite being a contender all season, the 24 yet to get a win this year. Mauricio trying to hold on. Nate Doucette gets to the quarter panel for the race lead. The Chip Ganassi Dodge in trouble in the background. Off into the grass goes Philip Snipes, one of the Roush Racing machines. No caution, we stay green. Side by side, Mauricio up top, the Hendrick Motorsport champion, Doucette on the bottom.
And Doucette had a great run out of the final corner, able to position himself on the bottom. This is a great move. Now, that top lane does get quite the run. As you see, the 40 passes him, and now he's going to be at a bit of a deposition trying to make a move on the bottom, but at the same time, he's not putting as much wear on his tires. So this is going to be a tough decision. Does he try and push more on the bottom to make the move, or does he stay down here and try and save while he's fighting for the lead?
A little bit of trouble for Christian Butt for a second. Nearly slid up, falling the wall. Still good defense from Mauricio. Keep in mind, the more these drivers fight too, not only do they allow everyone else in the grouping, specifically look at the 29, the RCR shovies in the wall. Solis Jr. hits the wall. He was the first on the 2-tire strat.
And he's lucky that that was a wall pop, essentially. He didn't get stuck to the wall, so he got a good break. You know, he's sliding way up the track.
The next nearest driver on his strategy is 3 spots back. Brendan McGee in the 9. Towerhead the first on 4. Side by side still for second. Christian Budd wants it back. Offset 4 wide for a split second as they start to fan out a lot in 3 and 4.
All these different lanes you can use is giving these guys opportunities to make some moves, but right now, out front, it is still the Coors Light number 40.
Take a look at the battle of the strategies. McGee on 2 tires, Head on 4. Towerhead, he has been on a roll. Somebody who works within the NASCAR industry. Been really quick, especially the past few weeks, to be able to build up the points lead. He's not given up that race plus differential. And specifically, as they go 5, 3, 4 wide behind him, it's been an impressive campaign, to say the very least, tying the most wins for the last couple rounds, as some of the others look to try and settle it out, try to race Lincoln for the lead in 20th.
I'm interested to see why these guys are racing so hard. You know, if I was back here, I'd try to make some moves, and they wreck out of turn number 4.
Caution flag is out. Timothy Latham, several others slam on in. Montsevice nearly flips the 2 at Champo. And Lewandowski also involved, his second incident of the race. A parking lot down the front straightaway. And a track blocker with several drivers involved. Timothy Latham, Christina Ryan, Jonathan Hernandez, significant damage as the leaders have to check up for the parking lot.
That was a humongous wreck, and that's what I was worried about, these guys fighting for 20th. You know, as you're back in the field, if I was there, I would try and keep my head down, know where I'm at in the field, and I would try and stay aggressive to make some moves, but that was an incredible track blocker that saw most of the back half of the field get collected in one single wreck. You can see there the 1 just gets loose and slides up into the 2, the Blue Deuce, and the field just piles into the wreck.
A lot of heavy licks. Jeffrey McClintock nearly carried a car forward. 0-1 of Andrew Perkins. Several hits from all over the car. Let's look again. Parker Alexander took responsibility for this. He was the one in the middle. Yep. Just got loose.
I mean, just got loose, tried to save it, car high, and that's what happens. But at the old Phoenix, the track is pretty narrow. The turns are super wide. You can fan out 3, almost 4 wide, but it narrows back down. And that's a perfect example of that. You know, you can see there just ahead, trying to make the move. Rear end starting to slide out now and tries to save it, gets a twitch, and what a nice wreck avoidance. I mean, everyone else piles in, and he gets super lucky that no one else basically ARCA breaks him and sends him flying into the wreck.
That was Alex Baker along with in the 10 car. No contact from anywhere on the car. And as a result, amongst the 20s. Everybody elected to pit, but more strategy with the tire calls here. So is Junior, Tyler Head, Ali Osman, Dylan Roberts, who are amongst those who took 4 tires or 2 tires in the case of the 29 last caution, able to even them up or at least have less wear on 2 of the tires as a result of the call.
Yeah, so right now we're seeing all those different tire strategies really come into play. Those people who took 2 really trying to stretch it out. But these guys on 4, knowing that that track blocker just happened, are sitting pretty right now as they get a chance to really use those 4 tires that they got.
Got up to lap 20 of this race. Again, glad to have you with us for WINSTEL action. Let's expect to be a busy night here at the racetrack. And again, for those just jumping on in, second last race of the season of WINSTEL and its season for 2003 as it gets itself situated for another busy off season. So is Junior, one-time WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge champion, in control for the restart. Coming up to the start box, green flags are back underway. First drivers on 4 tires, 5th on back. Mauricio and Bud, as they fan out for the race lead. Tyler Head looks for it, and they all bobble through 1 and 2.
Even though I'm fighting for the cup and a possible chance of the championship, Tyler Head is looking for the race win possibly. He's being aggressive already, seeing his chance at his opportunity to lock in the championship along with a win would be a great way to close out this end of the season, and he's already fighting the 29 for the lead.
Single file out, Osman holding onto a spot. Mauricio starting to make some inroads though on those 4 freshies up on the top group. For the lead, caution flag is out. More trouble in the back of the group. Evan Locke amongst those apologizing for the incident. It's Kyle Benson who ends up getting the worst of said incident in 1 and 2.
So as he spins around, we're going to take a look and see what happened here at the back of the pack. These guys still racing hard. And here's a replay. The pedigree car, you can see there on the left side of your screen. He is kind of clear, but you can see there and then at the end he wasn't, and trying to slide into a gap that closed up fast. You know, didn't work out too well for him, and he would have been clear had he just decided to go through it sooner, but the 25 gasses it up in the middle of the corner, try and fill in that space. The 38 doesn't realize that he's not clear anymore, and he just gets spun around. Only 1 car involved, though, as we get back to rack them up and stack them up one time again. Pace car lights are on, and here they come down pit road, and oh no!
Is that going to be a black flag for the 29? He passed the commitment cone.
That was a bold move, and I don't know if you can do that. He did pass the commitment cone, so that could be a possible black flag for the race leader. I don't know what that's going to mean for him. I think an EOL. But right now, if that is a black flag, and if that is an EOL, our championship leader, who could clinch the cup tonight, is going to be in the lead.
Lots to discuss here in turn. We'll take a quick break. Meanwhile, we're coming up towards the halfway mark. You're watching WINSTEL here on FTF.GG. Welcome back to tonight's action of WINSTEL as we continue to zip along. Busy night from Phoenix. Jose Summers Jr. still holds on to the lead, followed by Head and Mauricio contact for third. That was with a battle for Ali Osman as the differences in strategies start to come into clearer focus.
It's been interesting to see all of these guys taking these different strategies along with the different lines. They're really pushing the nose off these cars here. And it's been the same thing every restart. The top two get away, but the rest of the field have to languish and battle for that third spot. All of these guys realizing that they have a good chance to come out of here with a good finish as long as they keep their noses clean. And right now, the guy who could clinch the cup is in second place.
Exactly where he needs to be able to clinch things. Dylan Roberts, meanwhile, amongst those. Look to work the outside groove this time. Christian Butt trying to play defense amongst those on the 4 tires.
Okay. As we're on 33 laps to go, this field decides that it's go time. With 33 laps left, 33 miles left in this race. Our championship leader currently staying in second position. All these other guys are trying to make the moves work. Still side by side, the number 24 Hendrick Machine of Doucette finds himself in the middle of 2 battles. The 17 and the 8 car just in front of him are battling side by side, and he's got nowhere to go. He's going to slide up the racetrack using that second lane, seeing if he can get an exit off of turn number 4. And right now, he's sitting pretty there in that 7th spot. The 17 and the 8. Oh, trouble. The yellow is out.
It's 22nd on back. More spins for the 25 of Evan Locke and several more. Hayden Ripa is also involved. Andrew Perkins there. Timothy Latham also wants those with apologies over the radio.
So again, we see another wreck in the back of the pack and another incident involving the 25 car. As we work to get you a replay of what happened there in the back of the pack. Just off the exit of turn number 4, we thought we were going to be good. Turns out we weren't. And the 25 battling with the 21 car. All these 3 back here have been in incidents, and the 1 lifts the rear end of the 01 and just collects 3 other cars with him. And the 25, I think, was trying to avoid that, but eventually would be an innocent bystander taken out by another stack up.
Repas was amongst those towards the back. Latham was 3 wide. And Alexander again.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. These guys in the back of the pack trying to make up some spots, and it's a constant theme. You know, we see these guys trying to make some moves, get aggressive, and errors slip through the hands. And as the rest of these guys wreck in the back, we come down pit road. The championship leader going down in second. He's going to make... Now, at this point, we're on 30 laps to go, so we're just about halfway. It's going to be interesting to see the tire strategies come out and play again. It wouldn't really be smart to take 2, as we've still got a long ways to go till the end of this race. If I'm up here, I'm going to try and take 4, as the 29 takes 2, and our championship leader takes 2 as well. He's going to lose a spot off pit road to the 40.
So Gabriel Mauricio looking for his first win. Comes out in the race on pit road in second. Timothy Latham and Philip Snipes yet to come down, however. So expecting this to get a bit interesting. Snipes has been known for rolling the dice. Does he roll the dice here? He already has had 1 spin this race. And it looks like he and Latham are committing to it.
Well, I don't know if I would personally be taking the gamble, but these guys are brave for sure being out here on track taking this gamble. They're going to stay out, and they're going to try and make it for as long as they can, but you just got to wonder, how is that going to be on their tires? Some of these guys already affected in some incidents, so these guys got to be careful when they get back on the gas, because with over 900 horsepower in these cars, that's going to be the tough thing to tame here at Phoenix.
Set for the restart. All tires up front. Only 7 laps on them, give or take, difference. Maybe about 3 or 4 under green. Is that going to be enough for them to hold on? 27 laps is a long way to go, though. So just about set for the restart. Latham, Snipes, Solis Jr., Mauricio, Head, Bud, Nick Doucette, Kolinix, Peleg, and McGee. Your top 10 for the Green Plague. So we start lap 34. The battle's on for second. Solis Jr. with a good lawn. Everyone looking outside of the 97.
There's already some contact. The 48 in the wall back at the start-finish line. He got his right side, and you can see it's scuffed. Right at the start-finish, he tried to go for a move, got loose, getting on the gas, and he slits and he slides against the outside wall. Lucky to not get stuck, and here's the battle for the lead. The 29 makes the move.
Looking alongside for the point. Makes it work easily. And Timothy Latham shuffled back immediately to third. Mauricio up to second. So just like that, quick change again. Mauricio has a chance, though, to pounce. We talked about this already a bit when it comes to Gabriel Mauricio. He's had good pace in his time in this series, but is yet to get a victory in his best career season so far.
He's sitting pretty right now, but already our championship leader moving up to third place. He makes the move on the people who stayed out. Lucky to get past everyone that could have been an issue as he slides and wiggles out of the corner. He's got a full mirror of the 12.
See some of that working to the pack right now. Bud trying to work inside. The old tires just have not worked at all tonight. Even when drivers have stayed out for the most part, the 2 tires calls have been decent, but the 4 tire calls have really been good once we've gotten a few laps in.
Once you get a few laps under him, once all 4 tires heat up and kind of wear in, these guys sure are fast. They're making up some moves right now, and these old tires really are proving to be a challenge to stay on. The people who took the gamble to stay out, dropping like a rock through the rest of the field as they come out of turn 4, 23 laps to go.
Amongst those very quietly running up towards the front, you see Alex Kolinix. Since that strategy call after not qualifying, he's been able to stay inside the top 10, top 15 or so. And he was amongst those, remember, at the start of the year. Had a lot of discussions with him, showed a lot of improvement, especially when it came to running with Petty Enterprises last season in Gen 4 competition. It hasn't been the same this season, though, just 6 top 10s in 16 starts.
And as the rest of the field comes through 1 and 2, we've still got a lot of side-by-side racing. These guys not giving up in the back of the pack. They've been side-by-side basically this whole race. Every time a restart happens, they go 2-3 wide, then it kind of slows down. But you can see the multiple different lanes being used, and we're almost 3 wide in the back of the pack, and that seems to be where the wrecks keep happening. So keep your eye out here on the back of this field as they're going to get antsy with 21 laps to go.
But in your contact in this battle, we've been keeping an eye on, though, Andy Trupiano. Driver with former eNASCAR experience, working high side. Emily Howe nearly forced it 3 wide. McGee already trying to keep an eye on the mirror because of how wild this is getting with the 3 wide. And there goes Osman, forced to back up. For the race lead, Mauricio looks to dive in, turn 1. A squeeze back from Solis Jr. They both drift off the corner.
They're using those different lanes I was talking about, and this is absolutely fantastic. Mauricio looking for the race lead that he once held a while ago, now battling it out with the 29. They're going to door each other in the corner, and they're going to start using each other's bodies as defenders on these race cars. They're going to go across the stripe, down back into turn number 1, and Mauricio hasn't completed the move just yet. He's going to look to see if he can make a lunge down into turns 3 and 4. That 29 constantly on that tie side gets a good run off the corner, and this is going to be a hard move to make, fighting for the lead.
And Tower ahead amongst those started really drifted up too, waiting for the popcorn seat. Mauricio looking for the edge. Solis Jr., he's getting a little antsy and close to the wall. Another slide back, still side by side, as here comes Christian Budd and Nick Doucette to join the party as well. nobody gives in with Solis Jr. hard on the outside, and Head is now nearly alongside to make it 2 cars topside.
Now, as a championship leader, he's making some bold moves to be trying racing out here in front, but I think he realizes that being in the back of the pack is not maybe always the smartest move. That's where we've seen all of the wrecks here tonight. So he's trying to be at the front. These guys are racing hard but clean. Right now, watching the battle from the lead, from the 86's perspective, riding on board with Tyler Head.
Mauricio's got the run. Can he get the clear? No. Still alongside with 16 to go. Head backs up to the top groove. Does Christian Butt fail on the bottom side? He thought about it, couldn't. Mauricio nearly clear. Still can't fully pass by the 29. They are so dead even tonight.
These 2 different lanes being used are incredible. You can really hold your own on the bottom, but once it comes to the exit of the corner, that top side looks to be the advantage, and he slides off the corner, but Mauricio makes the move stick, and here comes championship leader Tyler Head in turn 1.
The tires starting to give out. Remember, all these drivers on 2 tires. Solis Jr. several times this season has had issues with the rear tires. Head goes alongside though. Can he get the clearance back? Not yet. Still side by side, coming up 15, make it 14 laps to go. Mauricio looking to check out. He's 14 laps away from career win 1 in the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge.
And right now, the 86 of Tyler Head wanting to get past this 29 as fast as possible as the laps are winding down. If he wants a chance to win and clinch the cup, he's going to have to pass his 29 car as fast as he can and not let Mauricio get away with the lead, and he's cleared just off turn 4.
Down to 13 to go. And keep in mind, where Head's running right now, this would very much certainly clinch the championship for the 86 team. How will these final laps play out is the major question mark. As they go side by side once again, look who's in the party. It's Alex Kolinix looking for one of his best runs all season. And now he's in the conversation to lead group.
In this lead pack, he looks to be digging the most out of any of these guys. Right now he's using that topside lane that a lot of these guys are using. He's going to cut it down in the corner, try and get below that number 24 DuPont Chevy, and it looks like he's going to be able to get side by side.
This is for 5th. Kolinix very quiet all throughout tonight. Started 27th. Now he looks for 5th and does get the spot. Side by side for 3rd though, could be the trouble spot with 11 to go.
Alex Kolinix trying to use that high side to his advantage, and it's working like a charm. Able to pass Doucette in the 24 now. Looks to try and make a move to pass the 17. He's going to be our quick charger through the field, and here comes the 17 to make a move on the 29.
Solis Jr. still playing full defense mode. 10 laps to go from Phoenix. Just 10 miles to get around the circuit. Kolinix wants to go, but nowhere to go. Where do you go when it's stuck side by side in front of you like this?
You just have to make sure that the lane you're in is the lane that's moving, and right now Alex Kolinix using that high side lane, being blocked by the 29 who has been starting to fall off in pace. He's going to move to that bottom side lane, and Alex Kolinix trying to make the move as the 29 slides off of 4, and he couldn't make it. He's getting right behind the bumper of the 17. He's looking for his perfect chance to make the move.
He's getting pinched. He nearly squeezes upwards. Solis Jr. avoids the contact, but Kolinix has the pace. Now Dylan Roberts is here, and Roberts may have a chance. He's the first on 4 tires.
Been a sneaky mover all race making his way up to this lead group, as we've still got an incredible battle between Alex Kolinix and the 29 as the 8 looks to make it 3 wide.
Couldn't make the full poke though. Couldn't force the mistake either. And Solis Jr. looks to be on ice skates with how that car is bubbling as they lean on each other for contact. Roberts forced to check up, and Kolinix clears on by. That's for 4th position. And it looks like that rear tire is gone on the 29.
Just sliding all throughout the corner. His rear tires are burning up, but Kalanick's had to do what he had to do to make the move stick, and he was going to do what he wants to do to get his best finish of the season, already up all the way to 4th place, hunting down the rest of these guys. He's still quick. You can see after he passed the 29, he's got his speed back again.
Coming to 6 laps to go here from Phoenix, meanwhile. Some of the hard chargers looking to find a way to gain a 2.5 seconds or so. Is there enough time to get to Mauricio? Mauricio has broken away from a lot of these battles by about half a second. There's a look at the 40. Coming up to 5 laps to go. Mauricio just 5 miles or so away from career win number 1 of the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge. You could argue one of the most improved this season. Second of the points. It's still a very strong season for the 40 team, even though likely Tyler Head clinches the title tonight.
If Kalanick's wants to make a chance for the race lead, he's going to have to make up over 0.3 seconds on the leader. And while it looks like he's fast, I don't know if he can do just that, as right now when he was charging, he seems to be kind of stuck behind the 17, and our championship leader sitting pretty in second.
Might need a caution here to have a full chance. There is 1/10 of a second quicker per lap right now. 4 laps to go. That's not enough. Now they're trying to figure out a way to get around Bud. If not, battle for the edge of the top 5. Kalanick's left up for grabs. This is Dylan Roberts in the DEI car for the move.
He slides to the inside, trying to get door to door with Kalanick's, and it looks like he will, and he's going to be clear off the corner. I think Alex realizes that he needs to let him by. He seems like the faster car, and if he wants a chance at possibly continuing his charge to the top 4, if he lets him by and gets to tussle with another driver, that's 2 easy spots. So coming to almost 2 laps to go, he's going to look to see if he can let him by and see if he can charge his way through the field. But Mauricio leads the rest of these fields, coming to 2 to go.
Coming up to 2 miles to go from Phoenix. Mauricio all throughout the campaign's been in contention for wins. Second place in Atlanta earlier this year. He was second in that first win for Tyler Head at Rockingham. Roberts trying to get alongside, meanwhile trying to get 3rd spot. But all of this as we come up to the final lap of the second and last race of the season. 3 more sets of corners to go. Roberts takes his way to 3rd. Mauricio takes his run to the front straightaway to the white flag, this time by 1 more lap for Phoenix. But all of that has been wild. Tyler Head has had an absolute outbreak of a season. This season, since Rockingham, he's outright dominated parts of the campaign. Victories at tracks such as Kansas, Dover, and Chicagoland, helping clinch things forward. But as we come into the final corner, Gabriel Mauricio ends a 2-year winless streak for career win 1 in the WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge, while Tyler Head unofficially clinches the championship for the 2003 WINSTEL season.
At second place, even though he couldn't get the win, that's gonna be a great way to end it off and to get their way to the championship. Tyler Head with a great race here tonight, and this is exactly what he needed. Absolutely impeccable driving to find his way all the way to second throughout the field, and he is going to be the unofficial champion of the season. Oh, and we've got trouble in the back.
Oh, and a crash on pit road. Emily Howe crashes as Gabriel Mauricio gets to celebrate his first WINSTEL victory in the Gen 4 Challenge. And an eventful campaign, to say the very least. What a night for Car 40. He gets it done with the most laps led, being a contender in a couple different races this season. Let's take a look at the unofficial race results here tonight from Phoenix. As Mauricio, his first career win, he does it at the end of Season 2 in the Gen 4 Challenges history. Tyler Head comes in second place, unofficially clinching the championship heading into Homestead Miami Speedway, while Dylan Roberts finishes with Christian Budd and Alex Kalanick's inside the top 5. Solis Jr., Nick Doucette, Ali Osman, Brendan McGee, and Andy Trupiano once again quietly inside the top 10.
Looking further down the grid, Howe in 11th, then Reedy in 12th, Hernandez, Shampoo, Kerry Ryan, Pellig, Benson, Crampton, Bates, and Lack rounds out the rest of the grid.
Looking at the rest of your drivers in the top 30, Perkins and Snipes amongst those. Various different races. Snipes from an incident or two. Perkins recovering for the big one. Montsevice doing the same for 23rd. Latham, Bowles, Reepes, Murray, McClintock, and Sire. With Parker Alexander a DNF. Also out of the race from that same lap cycle, 32 laps down. Ends up going Thomas Lewandowski. As we get all situated and ready to go, let's talk things over with your top 2 runners tonight. The first is a first-time winner in WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge competition. Gabriel Mauricio finally gets it done here tonight. Congratulations, Gabriel. First things first, how does it feel to be a WINSTEL Gen 4 Challenge winner, the 17th in its history?
Man, it's awesome. It's been a while. I feel like I gave one away here on this track last year, so to finally get one is just awesome. I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, especially stuck on the bottom. Not sure how the tires held up. It was tough.
In turn, how would you describe the battles tonight with not just Doubleheader, but Jose Solis Jr. in the midst of things? You had a lot of air pressure. How was that defense throughout the night?
Yeah, I felt like most of the race, the outside was the place to be. That's where I passed him the most amount of cars, but the pass that meant the most was definitely on the bottom, and I was like using all my tires, and if I gave up the position, then it wouldn't work anyway, so why not try it? And when I finally cleared him, it was like try to save tires, but also be aggressive to not let Tyler catch, and my right wheel was like gone, so it was not easy at all.
But in turn, second place in the points, still waiting for the official word, but likely in a very solid spot for second of the points heading into the final race of the season. Your thoughts on the season in turn as a whole with how you've contended for the championship towards the very end?
Yeah, I just cannot believe I'm second in points like right now. I just had so much great momentum on the last like 4 or 5 races, like, and the other ones I was like barely in the top 10. So it's just awesome to be able to finish the season like in the top 10, get a lot of points. And I feel like if we had the chase this year, we would have been even better. So let's see how it works like next year.
Well, once again, Gabe, congratulations. You're a WINSTEL winner.
Appreciate it.
Gabe Mauricio gets it done at the Gen 4 Challenge, but even more so, unofficially, just waiting on the final points tallies to come in, Doubleheader entered tonight with a race and a half lead of the points. With tonight's performance, the very little increase from Mauricio should be enough. Doubleheader, unofficially, you're the champion for 2003. How does that feel after the surprising start to the year? You cap it off tied with the most wins with a race to go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the tone of what I had to say at the beginning of the year versus now is really different. I didn't expect to be in this kind of a spot. I was just hoping to be able to contend for a solid top 10, but in the final standings. But a lot has gone right this year. You know, fortune has really gone my way, and thankfully, you know, just from last year to this year with the power, the handling of the cars has really kind of come into my skill set a little bit more. So yeah, it's really satisfying with how many competitive people we have out here, and you know the colorful thematic things that we have going on with this league. It's really special, and so it's really an honor to, you know, be able to run with everybody, and you know it's a pleasure to have as much fun and have as much success as I've had. And I gotta give a tip of the cap to Gabe, because that win was a long time coming. He's had everything this season but a win, so I'm really glad that he got that done. He was fast as heck tonight.
38 laps led for him tonight, but I can tell you this, the official tallies are in. It's now officially official. But in turn, in terms of your iRacing success in the past, in terms of all that, what kind of goes to the mind when you say, I'm now a WINSTEL champion, in terms of how you've been in the past compared to really changing a lot of those tones as the year went on?
I mean, I've been sim racing off and on for 15 years at this point, and this is hands down the most significant thing that I've done sim racing. Usually I've been running stuff that's a little bit more niche and it's a smaller, crowd that likes to do what they're doing, but it's just it's a lot more niche. And this is a lot bigger as far as the number of people participating, how seriously it's taken. The format really compels everybody to race as hard as possible at all times. And there's a lot of skill that shows up week in and week out. So this is far and away the most significant thing I've accomplished in sim racing. So it's something I'm proud of for sure.
So, what's the game plan now that you're a WINSTEL champion? Still one more race in this series' campaign for this season. What's the game plan the rest of the year in turn with the sim racing side now that you're a WINSTEL champion and have really picked things up in turn? You'd have to argue on the market. No offense.
Well, short term next week, just go out, race really hard, race really tight, and see what we can make happen there. I can race really loose like I did tonight, knowing that the only thing at stake is where I finish. And then going forward, I just hope to be a good steward for this league and really help convince people to give us a try if they haven't before, and come and enjoy what we have to offer. I don't know that being a champion offers me any more ability to do that, but that is my goal going forward.
I mean, if it helps make you feel better, or to add to that point, you technically do have an I rating that gets you in top split next year in RTP.
Oh, there we go.
Okay, on that note, congratulations once again to Doubleheader, your 2003 WINSTEL champion.
Thank you.
Once again, I'd like to thank him, Cameron Bracio, for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here at FTF.GG. But on that note, it's time to head off towards Concord, North Carolina, because the FTF Cup Series, brought to you by Bar Visuals, is currently working its way around the Roval with the modern-day next-gen cars. Let's keep an eye on how that action plays out. But as we finish things up from Phoenix, for my co-announcer tonight, Alexander Balderas, for Zach Johnson, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching the second to last race of the WINSTEL season from iRacing's virtual Phoenix International Raceway.
How do I stay here? Gotta find you before it all disappears. What do I do? Gotta find you before it all disappears.
What's up? I'd like to welcome in a new audience, or I guess an old audience, whatever this is. Barberville FTF Cup Series, the David Kreutz 250K. The Roval, this track still stinks. Stage 1 is done. Stage 2 coming up. Parker White, your race leader. Daniel Falkingham leading the stage at the stage break. And oh, by the way, Wyatt Tinsley has had some issues, so trouble for playoff driver Wyatt Tinsley. Connection issues has knocked him out for presumably the night. He was in at the start, fell out. He has not rejoined since, so he's not helping his cause for the playoffs. New round starts tonight, then we have Vegas and Homestead the next 2 Saturday nights to make up your round of 8. So we kicked 4 drivers to the curb last week, Caleb, and we kick 4 more to the curb by the time the checkered flag falls at Homestead here in a couple of weeks.
And I mean, we're to this point, obviously, the round of 12 opener here tonight at the Charlotte Roval, where, I mean, there are heavy hitting names that are going to be facing elimination here on the cut line coming into tonight. Kevin King, Brian Mercurio, one of which you're defending champion, obviously, but Daniel Falkingham, Matthew Zwack, Brandon Hawk, and Kevin McAdams. I mean, not guys that are, in that mid-pack. I mean, these are guys that are going to be in your top 5, top 10. It's going to be a big heavyweight fight all the way to the end of this round, like you said here, starting at the Charlotte Roval, then Las Vegas and Homestead the next 2 nights.
We'll see how everything pans out, but as we mentioned, we are under caution. This is our stage caution, and this is the only one we get. So this is the only planned caution that we will see tonight. Parker White is your race leader. Nate Stewart second, Joshua Chin third, Rocky Boyd is fourth, Lawson Peel fifth, and Chris Wetz, Aaron Riolo, Michael Guest, Daniel Falkingham, your stage winner. He pitted along with everybody behind him at the caution. So some different strategy from those that have stayed out compared to those that just pitted. Josh Chin, of course, he's third. He pitted super early in the race, so he'll have to pit more likely the next couple of laps. Once we get back to green, we're half a lap away from getting back under the green flag.
And Parker White has, just been dominant so far. Didn't get that stage win just as a result of strategy there, but already on a tear. Won 2 weeks ago at Iowa, then Talladega, a 12th place finish after, kind of just limping it home there at the end. And, Blake Reynolds, who has put himself in a good position here in round number 2. Budafuka, as you mentioned, coming out here winning stage 1. I mean, all these guys, everybody's just trying to fight to separate themselves in this top 8, make sure they can do everything they can to advance. And going to be difficult at a track this tough to get around. So many different braking zones, so many parts of this track where you can make a mistake and potentially mess your night up.
19 laps will be complete when we get the restart. Got a long way to go here. They have to back up from the pace car, which is why we're crawling down the back straightaway here. And off of NASCAR turn 2, they'll take the chicane. There's the pace car. He's zooming right along, and here's the field crawling their way to a restart. They just want to make this as long and painful as possible, I guess, as they will skip the chicane here.
Yeah, let him do the oval.
Be a better show than what we've got cooking tonight. 19 laps will be complete here. On the restart, Parker White, your leader. Then Nate Stewart, Josh Chin, Rocky Boyd, Lawson Peel, Chris Wetz, Aaron Riolo, Michael Guest. Those 8 cars stayed out when the caution came out for the end of stage number 1. It's the only scheduled caution we have the rest of the way, and it may be our last restart of the night. They will also skip the front stretch chicane. Parker White brings us down. Green flag. We're back to racing.
Big launch here for Parker White, and that control zone is going to be so important all night with the single file starts here at Charlotte Roval. The Barberville FTF Cup Series. Whoa! Art Reimer looks like
they were wrecking in the back, and Art Reimer's around in turn 1. He got hit by another car. Caution's out.
And correction, looks like that was Aaron Riolo who's in the 49 this week for Art Reimer, who typically adorns that number 49.
Yeah. Yeah, it was Daniel Falkingham that got into the back of him and punted him. Michael Guest involved, as well as Chris Wetz. Just the stack up there with Wetz. And it winds up with the 49 Riolo into the wall. Some big damage there for Michael Guest, a playoff driver, before Riolo gets hit again.
And I think it's just a big stack-up effect there. Chris Wetz, I think, might have gotten on the brakes a little bit early there to try to make sure he makes that corner, but he's got a stack-up of cars behind him. As you mentioned, Falk on the aggressive there, and just gets everybody stacked up and into one another. Go on board here, and he's...
This is Chase Schaefer here on the 42. Wham! Drop kicks him, making, I believe, his first start this season. Not necessarily the way that he would want to start it. So we do have an announcement to make tonight. And since we actually have a caution, we'll do this now. Military Appreciation 1000K weekend. That is coming up in 2024, May 31st through June the 2nd. Here's how it'll work. 2 days of live qualifying, Friday and Saturday. That's May 31st and June the 1st of next year. Then 1,000 kilometers or 415 laps around Charlotte on Sunday. $500 to the winner of the race. So you got to make the field first. That's through live qualifying. And basically this is just a build off of, hey, well, we run the Bar Visual FTF 500 every year at Daytona. Another special event for the middle of the year. And Coke 600 weekend, it'll actually be the weekend after. And looking forward to it next year.
And that's going to be an event to behold. For anybody who is challenged at math as I am, 1,000 kilometers, 415 laps is a little over 600 miles. And that's going to be a grueling event. And I'm sure tons of qualifications going to go into that. Should be a very fun event. However, the Charlotte 1000K for a military appreciation weekend.
Oh boy, Sunday Night Football's going on right now, and the 49ers almost had a big play, but I have a feeling this is going to get called back. They punched the ball out from Tony Pollard's hands, but I think the 49ers may have touched the football while they were out of bounds without having possession, which I think would mean Dallas would hang on to the football. So they're going to review it. They'll go to break. I wish we could go to break right now because we're doing nothing right now. We're going to do another lap of pacing, minimum. And hopefully that is it. How the Falcons do today? I know the Eagles won. They're still undefeated. Falcons, Titans, how'd they do?
Not great.
You
Not
can't
great.
pick a team.
Well, Atlanta graced us with a victory over the Houston Texans by like 2 points, which is not good. And then Ryan Tannehill threw away another game for the Tennessee Titans today by throwing a last-minute interception on a potential game-winning drive. That was also very much appreciated. So not a great sports day, but glad to get here and unwind a little, watch Parker White do his thing as of right now. Shout out to Nate Stewart up in the top 3. Josh Chin, a few unfamiliar faces. Nate Stewart, more accustomed to being up here than the 53 car is. Josh Chin taking over for Justin Malillo, who has gone to race control duty for the rest of the season. And I know Josh Chin, one of the road course ringers, and was so good in FTF 1. For those of you who followed us along for all of those events, including the Rectangle 500K, Josh Chin was one of the heavy hitters in that series for the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and now stepping in for Justin Malillo and showing a little bit of muscle here on the Roval, maybe hoping to use those road course ringer skills a la AJ Allmendinger earlier today. Even though AJ is full time now, guess he has been for the last few years.
You say you're surprised to see Josh Chin in the conversation here. Let's do Control F. And so his results for this year: 8th at Indy Road Course, 9th at Darlington, 9th at Daytona. He was part of the conversation at Talladega last week. So not really surprised to see Josh Chin up into the top 3 and contending. You talk about the road course experience he has here as well. Not really surprised to see Nate Stewart up here either, just because he is good at the road courses for the most part. And I know seeing him talk about it on X earlier this week, the fact that he was setting some pretty fast lap times around the racetrack. Meanwhile, the ruling on the field stands. 49ers take over possession of the football near the end zone. So, Lowell Cowboys. And I don't want to root for the 49ers, but in this case, I may not have a choice.
Yeah, we can open in this real fast and bring it back to Nate Stewart real fast. Do know that he is had a huge loss yesterday with his Kentucky Wildcats. He got pummeled 51-13, I believe, by the Georgia Bulldogs yesterday. So he's hoping to get some retribution tonight.
Georgia only shows up when they want to show up. Like, that team is so hot and cold, and if they go ahead and blow a game at some point down the stretch to a team that they should beat, they should join the eternal ring of hell of teams that should never be allowed to be ranked again. I'm talking Notre Dame. I'm talking Oklahoma. I'm talking Texas. Since they blew it this past weekend, get them out. LSU, 5-year ban. Done. Next.
Ban on the rankings. These things happen.
And hopefully Ohio State's part of that conversation this next week, because it's the same teams that are always ranked, and then all of a sudden they play somebody that might be difficult and they fall apart. Meanwhile, Parker White, he's going to make the rest of the field fall apart. He's gone. Green flag.
Yeah, big launch here for Parker White once again, and mentioned on that last restart, the zones. Watch out for Falkingham back here. Had similar makeup to what we saw in that last caution, but looks like we'll be okay getting through that first turn. Oh, no, we won't. Hold on. We got one car in the Tums Heartburn turn.
Still green.
See if we can get back going.
That is Cole Freilich. But we stay green. Now Matthew Zwack is in trouble. That's a playoff driver. Gets it rolling, but he's going to lose a ton of track position. Trouble for the 7.
We'll get that back going. As you mentioned, a playoff driver. More playoff drivers here. Brandon Hawken, Daniel Buttafuoco up inside the top 10. Brian Mercurio as well behind. Going into
trouble. On the apron of turn 1 and 2. Spencer Ray has gone around. And now we've got more trouble. Lawson Peel has had an issue. This is in the backstretch chicane, and he is losing spots to everybody on the racetrack.
And again, that's one of those parts of this racetrack that are so easy to mess up. You just lock the brakes up a little bit, and feels like you're in a wall with how narrow this track is. Almost no runoff areas because it's just squeezed inside the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Parker White,
and he got some help by playoff driver Daniel Buttafuoco. Got into the back of him and turned him around going into the chicane.
And you can see that gap that's built up from Buttafuoco to Brandon Hawken in front of him.
Ethan Corner pulling out in front of Spencer Ray, and Spencer Ray slaps the wall in turn 2. Ethan Corner sitting in the middle of the racetrack pulls out in front of Spencer Ray, and Ray takes evasive action and drop kicks the wall. Now the 04 is off the pace. That's Art Reimer. Chaos.
And they'll get it sorted out eventually, but these first few laps back to green have been just absolute pandemonium. You see Art Reimer there getting back up to speed. And all that's happening, that's, you know, the 33rd, 34th position. Meanwhile, the leaders Parker White right now, Nate Stewart, you see him trying to chase down that 011 for the first time really today. Mentioned that there was some pit strategy at the end of stage 1, but other than that, it feels like it's been Parker White's race to lose so far.
Mercurio! Front straightaway. Locks up the tires, and he's going to lose a ton of spots. Now more trouble. Kevin is around, out of the chicane on the front stretch.
Keep it together, boys. We got it. McAdams looks like he'll fall back to
playoff drivers.
Yeah, and I mean, both of them are going to have some big track position battles to overcome at this point. Kevin McAdams sitting 28th right now. You see Brian Mercurio there. He's fallen back as well. Around guys like Jonathan Oshlin, David Cabrera.
The 49ers fumble the football at the 1-yard line, and Dallas recovers. Incredible. Meanwhile, for the lead, Nate Stewart is in the tire tracks of Parker White. They're on the same lap tires. Christian McCaffrey, unbelievable.
Into the front stretch chicane here. Get all the turtle action. I mean, the last few laps looks like Nate Stewart's been consistently running just a hair faster than Parker White, and it has gotten him within now under half a second.
And last time by, 0.3 faster was Nate Stewart. Trying to challenge for the lead. Wouldn't that be something if he could go to victory lane tonight?
And Nate Stewart is one of these guys that definitely wants it more than about anybody out in this field. Hasn't had a stellar 2023 campaign. Would love to come out of here with a win tonight. Last time, for anybody curious, Nate Stewart finished inside the top 30 was at Watkins Glen with a 22nd. So I mean, this back half, he had a semblance of a season going at the very beginning, and then just kind of fell apart after the break, and just has not had luck on his side. He's just had so much speed and just cannot get good finishes to save his life, whether it's bad draw of luck, or if there's an incident, something like that on the racetrack. Just has not been on his side so far in 2023. I'd love to really start to shift that momentum here with a win at the Roval, and got within about 0.3 of Parker White, but then Parker White put on the burners and has now put it back to almost 0.75 of a second.
Stage 2 ends in 3 laps. End of lap 30 is the end of the stage. There is no caution for it, though.
Yeah, typical FTF fashion. No caution at the end of the stage. Should open up our strategy games quite a bit here. Your NASCAR 1 and 2 for Parker White. He'll get onto the back stretch and into the bus stop back here. Look at P3 here, and Daniel Falkingham mentioned he had to battle around some cars, and saw that, especially all that aggression on those earlier restarts, and has now crawled his way up inside the podium onto the bottom step. He'll go on and try to chase down Nate Stewart now.
Oh, Parker White catches the wall. Coming out of the chicane, we are in the buffer zone. With 3 to go, trouble, Chris Wetz. And he is going the wrong way. This is in the backstretch chicane. Spun it on exit.
And you see Wetz back up to speed. Here's Rocky Boyd, currently battling with 2 playoff drivers behind him. At least the one in Buttafuoco right here, all over his back bumper. Norman in the 93 as well. In that 9th position, Sander Nyhoff in 10th, about a second back from this battle as well. Starting to get to that point in the run where everything's fairly spread out at this point. This battle right on the cusp of the top 10, about 12 seconds behind your leader in Parker White.
taking their time right now. Buttafuoco about to get passed by Norman. To the inside, there he goes. Buttafuoco's going to lose another spot. Oh, that's close. Riding on board, they make contact. More contact. George Kittle scores. And 2 to go on the stage.
And again, you're going to start to see some aggression from the playoff drivers that are, I mean, right now, Michael P. Frisch is the only one that's really in any sort of striking distance, but even then, that's about a 7-second buffer, excuse me, to get any playoff points for him. But I mean, guys like Buttafuoco going to try to get all over Rocky Boyd here, try to get any spots they can, maybe Blake Reynolds on Joshua Chin.
The mailbag question, does the Roval have lights? Yes and no. Obviously, the oval part does, but as we learned in warm-up, the infield does not. So the row part doesn't, but the oval part does, if that makes any sense.
Are we battling darkness, Jacob?
If we wind up having the sun go down in sim before we finish this race, this will be the last race I ever do in my life.
Trouble. It is cresting
Last
over
lap.
the horizon at the moment.
Last lap, stage 2. We're looking at a battle for trouble. Travis Beckner has stopped. Now he's rolling. There he is. Seems to be doing all right. Meanwhile, Parker White's making his way back onto the high banks. Come around and win the second stage. And at that point, we'll have 37 laps to go. So we're just under halfway once we finish the second stage.
And again, no caution to base strategy off of from this point on. Parker White, though, with some well-needed bonus points as he heads into the front stretch chicane.
Parker White comes off the final corner and picks up the green and white checkered flag. For the 852nd time this year, he will pick up the stage win. Our stats show the 23rd time this year. Make it the 24th, actually. He picks up the stage, doing it for Jeff. And we will stay under green since there is no caution for the stage break. Nice battle coming up through here. Oh, this is going to be dicey.
Side by side here, Buttafuoco trying to hold off right now Rocky Boyd, who he just got by. Looks like they'll fall in line for the time being, and now Rocky Boyd, after trying to get that spot back from Buttafuoco, is going to have to watch this attack from the 93 machine in Norman.
Buttafuoco able to run away. Boyd and Newman the closest out of this group. Everybody else spread out with Nyhoff, Toika, Oates, and Cabrera in that group. Into the chicane. Contact. And Norman takes the spot. Boyd couldn't get up through the gears. Out of the chicane. Meanwhile, Josh Chin is on pit road. Remember, he pitted earliest out of everybody else. So he pits early here again. Still don't think, though, that he'll be able to make it to the end. He's going to have to stop one more time, as will, at this point, everybody else.
And look,
we're about to have a fight in this Dallas 49ers game on a kickoff. But we can't see it because NBC put up a graphic and used Hendrick font. Very cool.
Now watch out for Sander Nyhoff, this group right here, Toika as well. Nyhoff quietly, he started showing up the back half of the season, but he knows how to get stuff done at these road courses. Indy road course especially came home with a top 10, was fighting for a top 5 at the end of that race. Knows what he's doing around these left and righties. Jonathan Oates, David Cabrera, right now Brian Mercurio, who we saw with trouble on the front stretch earlier, made his way up to 13th. He's rebounded there with fellow playoff drivers Kevin King and Michael P. Frisch. Look at this 3 wide out of the backstretch chicane. Gonna have to sort this out before they get to the front stretch. Down through the gears.
Here we go.
Oh, boy.
Oh, into the turf. He goes wide and he gets passed by everybody, but he keeps it pointed in the right direction.
That's tough there. See Rocky Boyd, who was up inside the top 5 earlier on after this restart, is just falling back. Just a methodical charge from everybody behind him. And now Rocky Boyd has one Brian Mercurio to worry about in the rearview mirror. And you know Mercurio wants as many points as he can get to try to avoid elimination later on in this round. Three points above the buffer coming into tonight for Dale was Brian Mercurio. Through NASCAR 1 and 2, get up through the gears here.
Looking to the inside. And Rocky's going to miss the chicane. He's going to have to stop on the front straightaway, or well, he'll get the slowdown, and he'll just give it up to Mercurio right there. So Mercurio takes over the 12th spot, and Rocky Boyd will drop some more.
And it's little self-inflicted wounds like that that'll cost you here at the Charlotte Roval. You see Blake Reynolds, who has moved up into the 4th position now, battling with fellow playoff driver in Brandon Hawken. About a 5-second buffer from Daniel Falkingham in 3rd, back to these two who are right in that buffer zone for the top 5. Oh, one car around in the backstretch chicane, it looked like. Might have been some just brake lockup. That's common here as well. You just lock up the brakes and get some nice tire smoke. Looks like it was Daniel Falkingham.
And
he
just
gets by Goat.
And Goat comes onto pit road. Meanwhile, Parker White continues to lead. He's out in front by 2.2 seconds over Nate Stewart. 33 laps to go. We're past the halfway point. We'll go to a break. We're back here from Charlotte in a moment. 31 laps to go when Parker White gets through the chicane here. And the way he's staying out there, it looks like he's going to try and make it on one more stop as well as a lot of these others. Just because he's on his 23rd lap since he was last on pit road. And at this point, you would think you're going to try and make it just to a one-stopper. From here to the end of the race, Jacob Pitts, Caleb Hoffman. We absolutely have San Francisco and Dallas on in the broadcast booth tonight because this race has been pretty bland from beginning to now. David Cabrera is off the pace here on the front straightaway, but he gets it back rolling. My guess is he missed the chicane and had a slowdown penalty that he had to serve, but he's still P12. Meanwhile, the E12, Lawson Peel, is peeling onto pit road. See what I did there?
That was good, Hits. That was good.
Thank you.
And I mean, it should start to spice up here in the next few laps as we start to monitor fuel strategy. Going to be interesting is you see we're about 30 laps to go. And fuel percentage tonight, for anybody curious, in these cars is about 60% capacity. And only 4 sets of tires, so definitely kind of constricts what you could do in terms of, you know, if you wreck or spin, anything like that, makes these tires a lot more valuable to have. And with the 60% fuel capacity, it really shortens up these fuel windows as well. And opens up that door for more pit stops.
These tires still don't age worth a darn, so. Somebody's coming to pit road. Eventually. I'm not sure who it was, but somebody said they're making the call, and it's not a voice that I recognize. Rocky Boyd is on the pit lane, though. Making another stop.
This has been a fun battle
as well. 2 playoff drivers here in the top 5. Blake Reynolds, Brandon Hawken. Reynolds, your winner last week at Talladega.
And on board right now with this Brandon Hawken machine. And Hawken, another one who's so successful here in FTF, usually just has not broken through for that win thus far in 2023. One car missed the chicane there. Might have been David L. Brown, looks like. Correct. He'll slow down, and both the cars of Reynolds and Hawken will get by him.
Touchdown Dallas, and this game is solely just a who's got the bigger ego contest.
You got McCarthy
I can't
versus
stand to
Shanahan.
watch this. But just watching the players react, acting like they're hot bleep when they make a play, like, settle down. It's the second quarter. You're still down by a score. You didn't just win the Super Bowl. Take a breath. Like,
Hey, scoring on that Niners defense might as well be winning the Super Bowl.
Act like you've been there before. It's week 5 of the regular season. Anyway, old man yells at cloud.
Yeah,
Still,
right.
this battle here between the 66 and the 99.
On a NASCAR 1 and 2 here for Reynolds and Hawken as Jacob Pitts yells at TV screens in the booth.
Well, I mean, we all do that while we're on the air.
That is
here,
true.
so.
That is true. You got me there. Right now, I mean, Brandon Hawken been all over the back bumper of Blake Reynolds, trying to use that intimidate factor, but
And your leader is on pit road. So Parker White makes the call. Nate Stewart also makes the call. He's coming to pit road. Daniel Falkingham will stay out. These guys pitting with 29 laps to go. Make it 28 now. So maybe these guys trying to stretch it 28 laps to the end. They only made it about 25 or 6 before making the call to come onto pit road. And here comes Hawken to the inside for what is now second. Coming through the infield.
could very well cycle out to be your lead, depending on how this pit cycle goes. Still beating back and forth. Blake Reynolds and Brandon Hawken right now all over each other. Reynolds going to have the upper hand, though, as they get on to NASCAR 1 and 2. Hawken, can he use some of that draft and maybe try to set himself up for a move in the backstretch chicane?
To the inside. Door is shut. Now we'll go top. Reynolds tries to box him out, clobbers the curbs in the chicane, and pulls away by about 5 car lengths.
And Reynolds did a great job there. Like you said, boxed Hawken out of that corner. Hawken just had to get out throttle and look at the gap, but that's accrued almost a second.
I just got the worst commercial, I think, ever. Advertising for the Olympics, and it shows Tirico and Collinsworth with people dubbing over them in French from pregame of tonight's game. That was the commercial advertising for the Olympics for next year, which are in Paris. But
you remember the Fox Super Bowl commercial a few years ago where they had the cup cars burst onto the field like mid?
Yes, but at least people could somewhat wrap their head around that. Like, people in a boardroom somewhere wearing suit and tie high-fived each other when they came up with that commercial idea. And, like, if I was in that room, everybody else would have been fired. What are we doing? Oh, my. All right. 27 to go. Coming to 26 to go. Daniel Falkingham is still out in front. He is on pit road right now and locking him up.
He did a good job there otherwise, besides potentially, like you said, locking him up. Hopefully don't flat spot those things. You see Nate Stewart here. He cycled off after coming down the pit lane. He's right on that edge of the top 10. Looks like Timo Toika is coming down.
Yep. Toika's in. Parker White has retaken the lead, by the way, since everybody has decided to come onto pit road. So that was quick. Parker White leads, and back to the National Football League. I mean,
feels like it.
The closest vehicle is Sander Nyhoff. He's 4.5 seconds back and needs to pit. Oh, Parker White's off course. Parker White just flew it into the corner and tried to drift instead. He dipped the tires off into the grass. He lost maybe a second, if that. And unless he's firewall deep in the tire barrier, there's no stopping him. He did not take tires on that last stop. It was fuel only. And he still has a 5-second lead over Nate Stewart, who right now is currently third and is the closest driver that might be able to make it, we think, to the end of this race on fuel.
And Parker White has been the Christian McCaffrey of the Bar Visuals FTF Cup Series, it feels like, last season, especially tonight. The 5-second gap looks like Nyhoff's going to come down the pit lane, leaving Nate Stewart back out where we started, trying to chase down now Parker White. However, that gap has accrued big time for the 011, as now Nate Stewart not only is going to try to chase down Parker White, but he's going to have to fend off Daniel Falkingham if he doesn't keep this pace up. Side by side here, looks like Kevin King with Michael P. Frisch.
Doppelgangers back here.
Exactly. Frisch started running this Bar Visual scheme back at Darlington for Throwback Weekend, and just has never changed it. So he's just permanently back in his 2012-ish, I believe, Dale Jr. colors.
Brock Purdy just tried to send Christian McCaffrey to the hospital. And
we got Austin Collie
flag
gets
yeah. McCaffrey lived to tell the tale, but there's a laundry on the field, and I believe it's going to be a 15-yarder unnecessary roughness. We'll get the call. unsportsmanlike conduct on Dallas, that's declined. And then personal foul, unnecessary roughness, that is accepted. And it's all against Curse, whoever that is on Dallas's defense.
It's J-Ron Curse.
Trouble, Michael Guest. No, not Michael Guest. Who is spun? Somebody is spun. Unless Justin Melillo's a big fat liar. I don't know who spun.
Oh, here it is, number 97.
That's Spencer Ray. It's out of the way, and we are good. Spencer Ray in the 97 for Jordan Worth this evening. Meanwhile, a battle for second is brewing. Nate Stewart looks into the mirror, and the green car of Daniel Falkingham has closed significantly. The gap down to 0.4 of a second.
Watch Nate Stewart here. Did a good job of navigating through that front stretch chicane, better than Falkingham. We'll go into the infield portion of the road course. Another very difficult part of this racetrack. Again, so tight and constrictive around this part, where if you're, you know, like a Parker White, you shoot out just a little bit too much, and you'll end up in the tire barriers pretty easily. Gotta time this just right, get up through the gears through NASCAR 1 and 2. This is back. You see Chris Wetz, one car going onto the pit lane. Spencer Ray as well. Wetz trying to chase down Oshalim.
Spalding, the one that we saw dip onto pit road. Nice battle for fourth brewing once again. Blake Reynolds and Brandon Hawken. They have gotten back close to each other here. There's a lap car in front of them here. That's the 128 of, I know who you are. I know you. Travis Beckner. Thank you. Oh, and he's about to get punted by Blake Reynolds if he's not careful.
Yeah, Beckner made one start earlier this year at Bristol Dirt, and then came back for Darlington a few weeks ago, and has making his third career Bar Visuals FTF Cup Series start here tonight in the 128 machine. Charlotte Roval, both Reynolds and Hawken able to get around him. And Brandon Hawken, it feels like for the last 30 laps, has been chasing down this number 66 machine.
And they've all been chasing down this 011 machine. 5 seconds, the gap, and it is growing right now. Now, Nate Stewart has been able to pull away a little bit from Falkingham. That battle for fourth continues to build up between Reynolds and Hawken here. It's two playoff drivers duking it out. Both of them really want this spot. Now, the rest of the round looks pretty strong for both of them, with 2.5 miles in Las Vegas and Homestead. And I'm a little surprised, Caleb, to see Brandon Hawken only running in 5th, just because a year ago he went to victory lane in this race, and not only that, he won himself into the next round of the playoffs, which eventually gave him a chance to fight for the title at Phoenix.
Yeah, Hawken was one of those drivers that made it to Phoenix, and I don't know, again, Hawken had so much success in the 2022 version of the Bar Visuals FTF Cup Series. Just this year has been sort of snake bitten, where you just cannot seem to get into victory lane no matter what. And a lot of those opportunities have been taken up by Parker White, obviously, with his, it feels like 15 wins on the year. But he just hasn't had those same opportunities. And when you're not able to build momentum up like that, it can put those questions in your mind on, you know, if you can still do it. And you know, that pressure mounts for sure. And 15 points out of the bubble, just got to hope that Hawken can get through this round and try to make it on to the round of 8 to where he can, then focus on trying to make a push for a championship. The first 2 rounds of the playoffs really are just get through and survive. You don't want to let tiny little mistakes take you out of a shot for a championship. And many times that's what can happen, especially for guys looking around like Kevin McAdams, who's on the flip side of the bubble, 15 points out. Matthew Zwack, who's also in that scenario as well, 22 points out. Both Falkingham and Brandon Hawken, the other 2 drivers of that 4 who were facing elimination, as you see cars on pit lane here, been doing a good job, both of them up inside the top 5 and have been there all night.
Touchdown Christian McCaffrey. There's a flag after the play, unnecessary roughness. Brandon Ayuk got shoved, and then somebody else came in and popped the big fat guy from Dallas that hit him. Actually, that was McCaffrey that whacked him upside the helmet. No, I'm sorry, it wasn't. Banks, whoever that is, probably the left tackle. So Ayuk started it, Banks finished it, and yeah, so 20 laps to go. This is the best battle on the racetrack. You're not missing much. Zabelski spins down the back straightaway. Keeps it pointed in the right direction, though, and we stay green. After, well, it was pointed to the outside wall, but he sorted it out. Meanwhile, Falkingham and Blake Reynolds continues to be the best battle on the racetrack. Here they come off NASCAR 4.
And watch Brandon Hawken here if he can explore any opportunity to get by Blake Reynolds here. And I wouldn't expect it from Hawken to make any too pressing moves right now. Still 19 laps to go. Doesn't feel like a lot, but that's plenty of time here at the Charlotte Roval to make things happen, especially when you are within half a second as Hawken is right now. Just run in the tire tracks. Make sure you don't burn your stuff up here. Make a run at him here at the end. Hope you don't get a caution.
Michael Guest has a meatball flag, and that car looks like a piece of junk. Not sure. He was just on. Oh, he wasn't. Okay. You must have a tire. No, because he stayed out. What the hell did Guest do?
And we'll look around for clarification on that, but again, Michael Guest, one of those guys you just can't let mistakes. You can't shoot yourself in the foot here this early on. Obviously, the opening round of the round of 12, second round of the playoffs here, and he's only 22 points to the cut line, 22 points to the good, 5th in the standings as they came into tonight, and has not been one to write home about for this number 9 of Michael Guest thus far here tonight. Obviously, now with
he
the
didn't
meatball
hit
flag.
anything. I don't know how he got the meatball flag, because he hit nothing in between his last pit stop and right now. So unless a turtle screwed him up, but whatever. We're going to go to break. 20 to go. Inside 20 to go. And he almost wrecked it. Very cool. Parker White leads by a lot. He's going to win. We'll show you the race for third coming up. 16 painstaking more laps to go here from Charlotte, separating me from bedtime. Parker White leads by 6.5 seconds over Nate Stewart. Daniel Falkingham is third. You saw it while we were in break. Blake Reynolds killed a man. Oh, no, he didn't even hit him. Lawson Peel just blew it himself. Well, in that case, we'll be seeing you. But it did cost Blake Reynolds a spot. Brandon Hawken got by him, and he just spun it again. Very cool. Now, I have seen some folks come back onto pit road, including Fresh, who's back on pit road. Feel only for him. Josh Chin was just back on pit road. So, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking maybe some of these guys may not be able to make it to the end on fuel. This is their 13th lap right here, and Parker White's got 15 to go. So, he's got to make it 28 laps in total on fuel. Checking up on sports ball. The Orioles, man, yikes. The Texas Rangers up 2-0 in the series. They beat the Orioles 11-8. It was 5-2, then it was 9-2. And then late, the Orioles got together a 3-run home run in the top of the ninth to at least get close, or in the bottom of the ninth to at least get close, but not close enough. Meanwhile, right now on Fox Sports 1, top of the 5th inning, Minnesota Twins lead 5-0 over the Houston Astros. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Phil Maton, the pitcher. Some guy named Farmer, the batter. 2 balls and 1 strike, the count. We're getting closer and closer to halftime out in Pasadena between the Cowboys and the 49ers. 49ers lead that game 21-7. Dallas has the football, and they're in commercial break right now, so I'm not sure how much time is left, but I think they are dancing around the 2-minute warning. Baseball on tomorrow. Good stuff. The Philadelphia Phillies starting us off at 6:07 p.m., looking to win Game 2, which would make life a lot easier in Philadelphia beginning on Wednesday. So Game 2 tomorrow for them in Atlanta, 6:07 Eastern on TBS. And then 3 hours later, the Diamondbacks off to a hot start last night, lighting up Clayton Kershaw. Only got 1 out recorded before they gave him the hook. Be nice if we could see that happen again later on, but the Diamondbacks against the Dodgers in LA. That's at 9:07 again on TBS. Sandra Nyhoff comes on to pit road. Meanwhile, you're not really missing a ton. As there's David Cabrera, I guess, making sure the tires are warm. We're trying to keep himself entertained. I'm not sure which. By the way, Farmer strikes out. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Twins still lead 5-0 over the Houston Trash Tros, the darn cheaters themselves. They won yesterday 6-4. Give them a 1-0 lead in the division series. And I just heard somebody in the wall, Cabrera, I think, but he's just running around right now in the 13th spot, putting together a nice run for that 31.
Yeah, it looks like just got by Nyhoff and hopped through the turtles a little bit, curbed it, got in the outside wall, but shouldn't be under too much threat right now. However, that is subject to change, as all these guys over a minute behind leader Parker White right now.
Oh, Cabrera's around. Right in the middle of the racetrack. He only loses 2 spots. Keeps it going now in the right direction after doing a 360. Style points to David Cabrera.
More importantly, no caution going to be as a result from that spin. Could have very easily...
They're too spread out for a caution. Like that. Unless there is a complete track blocker or somebody turns around and drives backward, you're not getting a caution the rest of the way.
And glad we were able to have the Mike Joy effect on our viewers there and jump scare you with that. But Cabrera did go around, and focus back to Brandon Hawken, who was able to get around Blake Reynolds. Reynolds again just trying to be in the tire tracks right now. Hawken was able to get around him, but again, 13 laps to go. Plenty of time here at the Charlotte Roval. All this happened about 25 seconds back from Parker White, your leader, who has built up a 9-second gap on Nate Stewart. Where have we seen that before?
1st and 10 from their own 18-yard line, and Purdy hands it off to Deebo Samuel. He picks up about 8. It's 2nd down and 2. Clock is running inside 2 minutes to go in the first half. About fumbled the football, but he did get back on top of it. Minute 20 now. Clock still rolling. All 3 timeouts for the 49ers. All 3 timeouts for Dallas. Not sure who gets the second half kick. 2nd and 2. Purdy, no whistles. Timeout called by the 49ers. Kyle Shanahan wants to think about this some more before he lets the team go to work. So a minute 11 to go in that game. 12 to go here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Parker White with an 8.5-second lead over Nate Stewart. And there is not a single close battle on the racetrack as Hawken is pulled away a little bit now from Blake Reynolds.
Yeah, Hawken indeed has opened up that gap a little bit. Similar to Parker White here, mentioned that he had built about a 9-second lead back to Nate Stewart. And you see really the closest car on the track to him is the one that he's about to lap. Go on board with him here for a second through the infield portion of the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. For those of you who are not familiar with the track configuration, almost feels like a little bit like the Daytona road course, where you're going to go inside the infield here, do this loop, get back onto turns 1 and 2, at least NASCAR 1 and 2. This is a really fun portion of this racetrack, where you just get up through the gears.
This is what you call normal.
Yeah, we're lots of rumblings that the real-life schedule would stray away from this in 2024, but they're opting to stick with it, as you see the new layout of the chicane there.
My hope is 2025, Montreal in, Roval out, and we just go back to the oval and we sacrifice a date somewhere else, preferably Iowa. Texas Motor Speedway. I personally would be okay with losing a date at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Wow.
Perhaps, like, I really thought when they said that they were going to add Iowa, that they were going to pull Sonoma to the spring and still keep the West Coast swing intact as Blake Reynolds comes onto pit road. And that really makes me think, I know who you are, Caleb, that these guys aren't going to be able to make it on fuel if Blake Reynolds, a playoff driver, is saying, all right, I need to come in, I need fuel.
And keep in mind, that was a question with everybody, mainly Parker White, the rest of the leaders that came in. It was 29 laps to go, about 19 laps ago. So Blake Reynolds especially here, maybe just making sure that he'll be good to the end at this point. And could see something similar here. I mean, if you're Parker White right now, I feel like you could come off the pit lane and, or at least go down the pit lane, get fuel, and come out of and still be, somewhere in that, second, third area-ish. You've built up so much of a lead, so it would be interesting. But I think if you're wanting to dethrone Parker White at this point, it's going to take a caution.
Nine to go, and we have been fed some breaking news. We don't have a breaking news jingle, but we have been given a preliminary schedule for 2024 for the Bar Visual FTF Cup Series. Looking at things above the fold, which basically is before the playoffs. We'll dive into playoffs at a later date. Some solid stuff on here. First of all, the Bar Visual FTF 500 right now eyeing a February 10th date. That's a Saturday next year. Off the following weekend as Parker White comes onto pit road. Of course, worst timing ever. As soon as I'm going to go through this crap, we're finally going to start doing something on the racetrack. We follow the NASCAR schedule briefly, and I mean briefly. Atlanta picks us up February 24th. Then we go to Auto Club, since that's still on the sim. Nate Stewart takes the lead, by the way, with 9 to go. Make it 8 to go. Then we visit Phoenix. How about this? Motegi, the Oval, in March. Then we come back to the States, run COTA, Richmond, Yuck. We're bringing back Kentucky. Not sure how I feel about that.
That'll be fun with the next gens.
Maybe. And then we're pretty standard up through Memorial Day weekend. Then we have the Charlotte 1000 that we talked about earlier. Willow Springs is on the schedule. Never mind. It's Sonoma. Yeah.
We said preliminary.
Fake news. Iowa makes its return to FTF. It was in the playoffs this year. Chicago Street Course, though, that is going to be Willow Springs. I'm a little surprised that Chicago Street Course doesn't make the cut. It was a little hit or miss last year, so I can reason with it, but just surprised. We also have more breaking news as you see Daniel Falkingham take the lead as Nate Stewart pits. We have a Bristol 500. Friday, August 9th. Live Bristol pole qualifying. Saturday, August 10th. Bristol 500. That's 500 laps around Bristol Motor Speedway. So I hope your liver is ready for the amount of drinking that you may have to do in order to make that thing watchable. I'm kidding. That should be
a blast.
That should be a decent race from Bristol next year. And unfortunately, Gateway sneaks its way in there as well before the playoff cut line, and we'll have a full look at the rest of that schedule whenever the FTF admins fully announce it. So I don't want to give away too much. I gave away a good bit there about some of the new tracks. Motegi, Kentucky, Willow Springs is new next year, plus the Charlotte 1000 and the Bristol 500. That's on top of the Bar Visual FTF 500 that you will see in February. As some folks are on pit road right now. Parker White is still 10 seconds back on Daniel Falkingham. He stays out. 6 laps to go. They're scraping up the body, I believe, of Nick Bosa off the field right now.
That was Drake Jackson.
Okay, I saw 9, and I thought Nick Bosa was 95. Clearly, he is no longer 95 if he ever was. 6 laps to go. Falkingham has to make it 6 more laps. Oh, we got somebody going the wrong way in the middle of turn 1. Paul Mikolajczyk is going the wrong way. I look up, I'm following Parker White, and he was coming straight at your championship leader.
Yeah, Mikolajczyk, he's going to just go ahead and retire, looks like. He was off the pace in the heartburn turn number 1 earlier, and looks like just could never get that car back recollected. You'll see here, looks like maybe a lap after. Yeah, hits that inside wall.
Just wop right into the corner.
And this is just so difficult because you just got cars coming the entire length of the racetrack.
He doesn't have a spotter.
Maybe there. Yeah, no, absolutely not. Impossible.
In real life, NASCAR, you're able to know when cars are coming because you've got a spotter up on the roof. Here, most of these guys don't. So they're solely looking at the relative. Daniel Falkingham to pit road, coming to 5 laps to go. Parker White coming through the chicane. Bing, bam, boom, takes the lead. He'll lead the lap. 5 to go. Now this race is over.
Well, it remains to be seen. We did see Parker White destroy or at least attempt to destroy the tire barriers in this infield portion a little earlier, and just grazed them, got on the grass a little bit, and lost about a second. But other than that, it feels like he's run almost a perfect race here at the Charlotte Roval, and again, his 2023 domination just continues here in the Bar Visuals FTF Cup Series. He'll get by fellow playoff driver
somebody
Matthew
spin.
Zwack.
David Cabrera has crashed.
Oh, you saw him right there.
Yep. And that's
And
in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, he's had a rough last few laps. We watched him spin at the exit of the backstretch chicane.
Don't back up that far. Oy. Oh, now he's just gonna. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Parker White leads by 9.5 seconds. Coming to 4 laps to go.
This is Matthew Zwack. We just said first car 1 lap down, running 14th right now. Cosmin Ionescu, and that's Sunoco number 84 behind him. Cosmin had problems earlier on in this race. That first lap, pretty chaotic for that number 84 machine. He's had a nice rebound up inside the top 15 right now. Looking around
So
the
Parker
racetrack.
White's incredible year is going to continue. He has 11 wins in the Bar Visual FTF Cup Series this year alone. He has 12 overall. And he is closing in on Isaac Gann, who is 4th all-time in Bar Visual FTF Cup Series wins, dating back to 2015. And this is something that we have never seen in the Bar Visual FTF Cup Series. The last guy to win double-digit races in a year, Taylor Morgans in 2019. He won 10 races. He didn't even win the championship that year. It went to David Day instead. So Parker White may be signing himself up for a death sentence in 2023, trying to pick up his 12th win of the year. The question is, can he do it at Atlanta at the end of the year when it matters the most?
And as you mentioned, 5th all-time on the wins list for Parker White. Quite an accomplishment for somebody who only had 1 win coming into the 2023 campaign. And as you mentioned, after tonight would make it 12 wins on the year and absolutely just shattering that record, or looking to at least. And how is that going to, shake up the playoff grid at places like Las Vegas and Homestead? Obviously, if he were to win here tonight, that would clinch him into the next round of Martinsville, Phoenix, and Auto Club, starting on October 28th, the Bar Visuals FTF Cup Series. And obviously, it's just been his to lose all year, feels like. It looked like we might have something brewing behind Parker White.
And Daniel Falkingham is closing the gap. I'm not sure he's going to have enough time to get there, though. Lap traffic a factor here. Nate Stewart 2nd, Falkingham in 3rd, and oh, he's going to hit the wall, and he gets hit by Oshalim. And so much for that. Well, 2 laps to go. That battle's over. This race has been over. There are 13 cars on the lead lap. There is not a single battle on the racetrack. Matt Spalding and Joseph Armstrong are within striking distance of each other here. They're a lap down, 23rd and 24th. That is the closest battle on the racetrack right now.
Absolutely, and
If
this is
eesh.
I feel you. Down the backstretch for Parker White, who is going to be coming to the
Cabrera
white flag.
again. He has just towed it. He was stopped somewhere, but he just tows it back to the pit lane. Sorry, Caleb. So he's just going to hang it up, and that's such a shame because he was running inside the top 15 for much of the night. But here comes Parker White into the chicane, takes the white flag. 1 to go at the Charlotte Roval, and if this isn't a death sentence for this racetrack, I don't know what is.
And right now, Parker White, again, has just put on an absolute clinic, and it has been this way so many times this year. I mean, we knew Parker White was good on road courses, has wins at the Indianapolis Road Course, at Watkins Glen International, at a place like Pocono. It's going to be heavy emphasis on the brakes. has just been so good. It feels like everywhere all year, and with a win would officially clinch his ticket into the round of 8 starting at Martinsville in just a few weeks. And from there, I mean, he can officially start trying to focus on that championship at Atlanta. And if you're a Bar Visuals FTF Cup Series competitor right now, you got to think of something big, because right now all signs point towards Parker White hoisting that trophy at the end of the year at Atlanta.
He's won at Las Vegas, The Rock, Kansas, Gateway, Nashville, Chicago, Pocono, Indy Road, Indy Oval, the Glen in Iowa, and the Roval today. Parker White's going to the round of 8, his 12th win of 2023. He gets it done in the David Kreutz 250K.
Looking at guys coming across the line here. This is a little further back. Looks like Nate Stewart's going to come out of here with a second place finish. This is a little further back. The number 45 machine under attack from Joseph Armstrong. Side by side down the backstretch. Still between, I believe, this is Plessel with Armstrong through the backstretch chicane. Number 45 is going to have that advantage. Can Daniel Buttafuoco come through? He will get to the outside of Plessel. Making up some spots
now,
there.
Buttafuoco is not for position. He sits P10. Armstrong a lap down. Spalding a lap down. And into the chicane. That'll do it. So Spalding loses the spot to Armstrong at the stripe for 23rd. Riveting battle.
Ankari, Oates.
That was also not for position.
Well, this one's not
I believe
either.
Everybody is finished now. Yeah, so
And
that's that. Let's take a look at your results here. Parker White, your winner. Second place belonging to Nate Stewart. Parker White burns down the house. Daniel Falkingham, third. Hawken, fourth. Blake Reynolds, fifth. Mercurio, Josh Chin, Aiden Norman, Sander Nyhoff, Daniel Buttafuoco, your top 10.
Kevin King with an 11th place finish here tonight to try to hopefully get himself into the round of 8 here in a few weeks. Michael P. Frisch as well. Jonathan Oates, 13th. Cosmo Ionescu in the 14th position. First car, 1 lap down. Rocky Boyd, 15th. Justin Laysenby, 16th. Jonathan Oshalem, 17th. Sebastian Merritt in the 18th position. Matthew Zwack, another playoff driver, has actually a pretty good rebound, finding himself inside the top 20. He finishes 19th here tonight. Chris Wetz rounds out your top 10, or top 20, excuse me, after starting 31st.
Timu Toika, 21st. Nick Miller, 22nd. Joseph Armstrong, Matt Spalding, Lawson Peel, Travis Beckner, Brett Bunkari, Kevin McAdams. Tough night for him. First car, 2 laps down. Ryan Pandisio, Art Reimer, your top 30.
And we'll look on back. These guys 2 laps down. David Cabrera 3 laps down. Had a good first half of the race going for himself, but just could not keep it on the track for that, feels like, latter half of that race. He comes home 31st in the number 31. Aaron Riolo, we saw spin early on, 32nd for him tonight. David L. Brown, 33rd. Sabelski, Mikalajic round out your top 35. Jonathan Goke, 36. Michael Guest, bad run for a playoff driver there, 37th. Ethan Quarter, 38th. Spencer Ray in the 39th position in that number 97. Chase Schaefer in his 3rd start of the season rounds out your top 40.
Freilich, Mace, Tinsley, your field. Everybody else DNQ'd. Tinsley, tough break for him. Another playoff driver. Connection issues early prevented him from having a shot tonight. Your race winner, Parker White with Caleb Hoffman.
And Parker, absolute domination here at the Charlotte Roval. And I mean, we'll focus on this first. I mean, how does it feel to just come out here and you didn't get the stage 1 win, but I mean, it felt like every other lap, really, you were out in front.
Yeah, my priority was just track position, not stage points. So I was completely fine with giving up the first stage win and restarting first. So that's what I did, and I just kept the lead. And we got a caution like right after the first restart, and it gave us some time to cool the tires down. And the pace was really fast after that. Like the tires are in perfect condition, and Nate's pace was very good. And I thought as long as he could just stay with me, that he'd have a good shot at it. But I was just able to pull away throughout the race, and After I think it was our first green flag stop, I like double downshifted into one of the corners in the infield and like half spun. So luckily I didn't fully spin out, but it was a pretty good race overall. I just had to figure out how to run the back chicane just because I didn't really have much time to prep for it. And usually the way you drive it is you just send it in and hit the first curb and then just flick it back right and hit the second one. But the way this car works, if you bounce at all, is just very bad. So I had to like underdrive and figure out how to drive it that way. So it's pretty interesting, and but eventually I was able to figure it out. It was a bit inconsistent through the race, but like I said, eventually I was able to figure it out and win the race.
Mentioned that it was your 12th win thus far on the season. You had 10 in the regular season. Round of 16, you had a rough start at Bristol, but then rebounded nicely with a win at Iowa to punch your ticket into the round of 12, and now here tonight punching your ticket into the round of 8. Where's your focus here the next few weeks? Or, are you going to be focusing on these tracks ahead of you as they come? Or are you looking forward to some of those round of 8 tracks maybe to try to clinch yourself early into the championship fight at Atlanta?
Just basically the same thing as always. I'll just show up to the races and just try my best to win. I'm not sure what the tracks are in the round of 8, but it'll probably just be the same thing as always. And just looking forward to next week and the races after that.
And we'll lay this out for you real fast. Just coming up, Las Vegas Homestead to close out round of 12. We got Martinsville, Phoenix, and Auto Club in the round of 8. Some tracks that you know very well. And then Atlanta for the finale. That's the old layout, not the new plate package. So going to be an interesting run to the championship to see if anybody can stop you here, because doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, definitely. Martinsville will be an interesting one. I read that race last year and I actually crashed on pit road just because I wasn't paying attention. So hopefully I don't crash on pit road this year. But yeah, Auto Club will be a really good one. That was a good race early in the season. It's always a really good track for racing. So that's probably the track I'm looking forward to the most.
That's your winner here in Parker White, and probably going to take a crash on pit road every week for the rest of the season, it feels like, to stop him. Picks up his 12th win on the year. We'll go back to Jacob Hitz. Thank you so much for your time here tonight, Parker, and congrats on a win.
Thank you.
And that is your race
Parker
winner.
White. Yep, let's talk with Nate Stewart, our second place finisher. And Nate, it's been a while since we've gotten the chance to talk with you. I know I saw on social media earlier this week you were really high on the speed that you had here at the Roval, and that comes full tonight coming home P2.
Yeah, sure enough, man. I'm really happy I was able to finally get a run. I feel like I deserve an FTF. I haven't had the best year, and I've had this track circled on my calendar since we ran here last year. This is by far my most favorite track on iRacing, and I did a lot of racing this week, just try to get ready for it, and I'm glad I was able to find the pace I was. Just unfortunately not fast enough to stay with Parker. I was happy that I was able to keep close to him on that restart, but then the skill gap showed. There's a reason Parker is, a Coke Series driver, and in the Pest Contender Series, he's extremely good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him. And I surprised myself by staying so close to him, finishing within 11 seconds over, well, I guess the caution lights it out, but like 50 or so laps. I mean, I surprised myself a lot tonight, and I'm really happy with tonight's result for sure.
Is there anything you could have done to catch Parker? Maybe like virtual thumbtacks on the racetrack or something?
Yeah, I guess I could have just laid out some virtual thumbtacks. I don't know, but last year, he broke a toe link in the race and left. So I definitely feel like I should have won last year, but I ended up choking. So, I never want to wish misfortune on a competitor, but I felt like that was the only way I was going to be able to win tonight was some shenanigans, and fortunately it didn't happen. But second is still good for me in our 23 or 1023graphics.com Toyota Camry.
Well, Nate, congratulations on the top 3, and best of luck to you next week when we head to Las Vegas.
Thank you.
Nate Stewart coming home P2 tonight. Daniel Falkingham finished 3rd. He's with Caleb.
And stage 1 winner here, Daniel Falkingham. ran into an uphill battle there at the start of stage 2, just as a result of strategy, and had to kind of work your way through some traffic there at the start. Got us into one of our cautions for the day. Was a little bit of a checkup there in turn 1. Just talk us through your process trying to, get back up and eventually work your way back into the podium.
Yeah, I was just trying to make a move as early as I can because I actually got a very good restart. All those guys rolled in front of me, but the green wasn't out. And then once the green came out, I hit it, and then I just allowed me to have a big run on those guys. So I made my move on guest, and I braked at the normal point, like where I usually brake for turn 1. And I knew I had a shallow entry, but I knew I was going to make it just fine. But then I guess AJ got into Chris, which kind of, I guess, backed them up into me, and I had nowhere to go. So I hate those guys got involved in all that deal, but just one of those stack ups when those guys are up front of the restart and just trying to make it all clean stuff where I had the confidence to know where to break in. It was just one of those incidents, but thankfully I don't think we picked up too much damage after that, but we were able to hang on and just have a good race after that.
And then coming into today, you were 3 points below the buffer, and it looks like hearing word that you should be third in points coming out of this race here at the Charlotte Roval. And just how much of a relief is that for you, especially going on to tracks like Las Vegas and Homestead, where there should be a fair amount of chaos with the next gens?
Yeah, I'm very relieved. I knew this was a race where I could get some big points because I feel like I've definitely stepped up my road course game this year. And yeah, I definitely knew I could get a lot of big points. And I knew once Parker was pitting at the end of stage 1, I knew this was my great chance to get maximum points and also get a few playoff points too to add to our acclimatization for the next round if we make it there, which I hope we can. I definitely feel like we deserve to be there too. So, but now this is awesome points. Just wish we could have got second there to get a few more playoff points. But Nate was on another strategy and I just couldn't get to him. And hey, I took too much fuel in the last pit stop because if I wouldn't have done that, I think I could have came ahead of him with like 5 to go or whatever. But yeah, me and Nate, we had a great race like that entire second half of the race. It was so much fun. Just felt like I was faster than him a few times, but I just couldn't get around him. Wish I could have got those few extra points over there. But nonetheless, I'm happy with the points haul tonight, and hopefully we can keep her rolling to Vegas.
Third place finisher in Daniel Falkingham again should be third going into the final 2 races of the round of 12. Congratulations on a great run here tonight for that number 54 team.
Appreciate it, Caleb. Thanks to all you do. Thanks to David for sponsoring the race. He's actually sponsored me for the upcoming Contender Series, so look forward to representing him over there. Just wanted to give him a quick shout out, and thanks for you guys for all you do.
Again, that is your third place finisher in Daniel Falkingham, Jacob. And as I mentioned there, some shakeup in the points, it seems.
Little bit. Let's take a look. Graphics department hard at work. Parker White, he advances. Blake Reynolds, he's second. Then Falkingham, he shoots up a lot of spots there. He finishes third in the points after race 1. Buttafuoco falls to 4th. Hawken also climbs the ladder a good bit to 5th. Mercurio 6th. Frisch 7th. Kevin King was in this race, by the way. I know we didn't talk about him at all, but he was there. He is the cut line. He is 37 points above the cut line. Then there's Zwack. He is 37 out in 9th. Michael Guest fell like a brick in a 2-foot creek tonight. 64 points out. Kevin McAdams, 71 out. Wyatt Tinsley, 77 points out after finishing dead last tonight at the Roval. That does it here from the Roval. Parker White wins, as everybody expected. He's on to the round of 8. 11 more drivers will duel it out at Las Vegas next Saturday night. Kevin King, your defending race winner, there at Las Vegas from this race a year ago. Zach Johnson, our producer, Caleb Hoffman alongside me. I'm Jacob Pitts. As long as Justin Malillo himself doesn't fire us, we'll be back next week for more of the Barbizal FTF Cup Series. Parker White, your winner at the Roval, and the Cowboys stink. We'll see you next week. Good night.